Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Finance Agents Live. Today is episode number 46, and today we're going to be talking about credit monitoring services. And you might be wondering, why did we decide to talk about credit monitoring services today? Well, let me go ahead and jump into it. You will know, if you already know who we are, then you know we do this. If not, we help people get funding. And one of the ways we help people is we review their credit in order to determine what they qualify for. If we did a credit pull, I actually went and pulled somebody's credit, that would damage someone's credit, so we don't like to do that. So over the years, people have typically gone to credit monitoring websites, signed up, sent us their information, and then we can review it without doing any damage to the report. Then if we see if it's good or bad, we can let them know and figure out where to go. So over the years, we've reviewed hundreds of thousands of reports from all sorts of different services. Today, we're going to be passing on the things that we've learned from all these hundreds of thousands of reviews to you to help you determine whether or not you want to sign up for credit monitoring service, which one to go to, which one's going to be the best. If you like what we're talking about today, then please subscribe to our show. And if you actually like what we're talking about, you definitely want to subscribe, because next week we're going to do a follow-up show that's going to be, I think, pretty cool. Today we're talking about an overview on, I believe, 15 different credit monitoring websites, going over some of the key points that you're going to want to know: price, what do you get, that kind of stuff. But over the next week, I'm going to actually sit down and record myself with a big timer to show how quickly you can register and sign up for one of the websites first. And then afterwards, the real interesting part, I'm going to cancel all the services and see how difficult that is. As you know, a lot of companies will really fight tooth and nail to not let you cancel. So it's going to be interesting to see which ones are easy and which ones you got to fight like a bear. So set a reminder, come back next week. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what the results from that show are. All right, so jumping into it, today we're going to be talking about 15 different credit monitoring sites, and the items that we're going to review are: which credit scores do you get from them? TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. We're not going to be getting into the large range of, is it FICO 7, FICO 8, is it Vantage 3 or Vantage 2? That's too complicated to talk about now. We'll probably do a whole other show later on that, just so you understand what all those different scoring models are. But today we're going to talk about which reports you get with each service, or if you get reports at all, which scores you get from each service and which reports you get from each service, how frequently, which ones. We'll talk about which ones provide credit monitoring. And what that means is which ones will send you notifications when there's changes and updates on your reports. We'll also talk about which provide identity protection, and sometimes it's tools, and often it's the form of insurance. And then finally, we'll go over other important info, basically the stuff that we have learned or comments that we have from actually reviewing these reports. All right, now in going through the websites, there's three primary categories that we're going to review them in. The first one is industry sites, and those are the ones that are owned by the big players, Experian, Equifax, that kind of a thing. Then we're going to go through the market leader websites, which are probably the ones that you've heard about a lot, because these are guys that are out there marketing like crazy. And then finally, we're going to go over the identity protection ones, where they actually do things to protect your identity, such as insurance policies or other more advanced tools that you're not going to get with the other websites. All right, so let's jump right into it. By the way, if you're watching this and you have a specific site that you have questions of, feel free to put it in. If we didn't cover it today, then I'll let you know if we have anything on it, or we can include it further on. All right, so jumping into it, we're going to start with Experian. So first we'll go over Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. These are the ones we refer to as the industry websites. So let's take a little dive in and see what we get. If you were to go to Experian right now and sign up, well, first of all, you get all three credit scores, and that's not common. A lot of them don't give you TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. And that's because it costs them money every time they pull a report, so they find different ways to cut costs. So you get all three reports, or all three scores. By the way, there's a difference between scores and reports. The score is the number representation of your credit. The report, for somebody like us, is actually a lot more important. And so some sites give you 1, 2, or 3. Experian gives you all three scores and all three credit reports. It It also gives you ongoing monitoring. So you get notifications coming out if you get a new inquiry, if a new account is opened, or if you have a derogatory item like a 30-day late, they'll send you a notification, and if it's something wrong, you can jump right on it. Experian also has identity protection. So $1 million policy. When I say the $1 million policy, I'm going to put a disclaimer. I didn't do a deep dive on the insurance. Every single website that said they had insurance had a disclaimer, had a star, said terms and so. I don't actually know if there's additional cost. They're definitely saying, they definitely make it look like there are not additional costs, but I think some people maybe won't qualify for it or get excluded. Maybe if you had a lot of identity theft problems in the past, you might get excluded. But basically that $1 million goes to cover identity theft. So if someone steals your identity, that money can be used to clean everything up. Whatever's entailed in that, I don't know. But that's what you get. And then last thing you get is for price. Sorry if you don't mind. So it's $4.99 for the first 30 days. And then after that it goes to $24.99 per month. That's for the regular credit monitoring service. If you opt for an identity theft service, which they have, which is less, then it's 30 days for $9.99 and then $19.99 after that. If you were coming to us, I wouldn't get the identity theft one. I'd just sign up for the $4.99 one. You get your report, send it in. And our opinion is that Experian gives excellent reports, some of the cleanest reports out there, whether you're getting it from Experian.com, through the government-mandated annualcreditreport.com, or through some of their other websites that we're going to cover on the show. All of them are good. They're thorough. They cover everything that we need or a normal underwriter would need in order to give you a full review. All right. Okay, so second we're going to talk about Equifax. Now, Equifax has a very different service compared to the other industry websites. And Equifax is, of course, famous for having this massive data breach not too long ago. So honestly, I'm a little surprised at what their service is. If you go to Equifax right now, it's $15.95. You're going to get an Equifax report only. You'll get the score and the report, and that's it. You don't get any monitoring or alerts. Frankly, considering how bad they bungled that data breach, you'd think they would give you monitoring, but there is no monitoring included. There's no identity protection included. Probably they figured out they couldn't afford it. And if you want to get a new report, it's another $15.95. Now, if you want to look at the bright side, you never have to worry about canceling the service, so that's good. But if you are looking for some sort of an ongoing service, it's not free, and you only get it once. This is probably one of the last ones I would choose. Okay, next, TransUnion. Now, interestingly, when I sort of got into this game about 10 years ago, I feel like everybody was getting TransUnion. It was one of the most common ones I saw. Everybody has their own limited view of the market, but I signed up for True Credit, which is a TransUnion website a long time ago. I had it for years, and I felt like everybody did. Now we hardly ever see it. If you go to TransUnion right now, you'll see there's two different options. You can sign up to get your credit report and scores or identity protection. Now, the identity protection service is totally free, so that's cool. But for the credit report and scores, you get one report, that's TransUnion, one score, one report, and monitoring. And that is $19.95 a month. Plus, you actually get identity protection up to $25,000 insurance policy at no additional cost. So that's cool. True Credit. Here's the website I just mentioned. If you actually go sign up at True Credit, you start at True Credit. After a few clicks, you find yourself inside TransUnion. TransUnion pretty much got rid of True Credit. I'm not really sure why, but they really have one website now, just two different ways to get into it. The True Credit is pretty much the same, although True Credit's free. Now, why going direct to TransUnion would cost money and True Credit would be free for the exact same thing? I don't know. There's a possibility that as you go through the sign-up process, you find out that there is a cost. That's kind of one of my guesses, but since I didn't actually do the sign-up, I don't know. I'll know next week after I do the sign-up with them. But you get everything that you get at TransUnion without the cost. So frankly, if you're trying to decide where to go between TransUnion and True Credit, you get the exact same report, but it is free. So that's awesome. All right, next, annual credit report. Now this is the last of the industry sites we're going to cover, or we're going to go over. And what's interesting about this site is that this site gives you a report from Equifax, a report from TransUnion, and a report from Experian, but this website is not owned by any one of them. This is a government website. So a long time ago, the government said, hey, you got to get everybody access to their credit report at least once a year for free. And this is the website they created to do that. If you actually go and sign up here, you choose which one you want to do, and you have to complete the process 3 different times in order to get your free report. So you get one free report once a year from each of them. You do not get your credit score, just the report. There is one loophole that if you do the Experian report and you save the report number, you can actually go back in and update it anytime you want, and you basically get free, not monitoring, they don't send you alerts, but you can go in and update the report whenever you like. Darren is saying I'm wrong. It's just for a 3-month period of time.
So if you don't put that number in within a 90-day period, you won't be able to get back into your report.
Okay.
But if you do it once within that 90-day period, it resets the clock.
Okay, great. So if you do it, save the report number. You got to look for it. It's not obvious. It's a little long digit number. Save it and make sure to log in at least every 3 months, and that way you can keep updating it for free. Darren, do you know how frequently you're going to update it? A lot has changed over there.
And it updates any time, so you can put that number in every week.
Okay, great. That is our best option. Now, from us, our company, this is the #1 recommended site we tell people to go to. There's 2 reasons for that. 1, it's free, and 2, when you put your information in, you're not opening yourselves up for marketing from anybody that these websites feel like they want to market you to. A lot of the other websites, especially the free websites, remember, there's a saying, right? When the product you're getting, or when somebody gives you something for free, the product that they're marketing is you. They give you something for free to get your information, and then they go sell your data to other people in order to make up the money, because obviously nothing is actually free. So that's something to remember. Annual credit report, you do not have this. It has good scores or good reports, which is what we need to review. We look at all the stuff on your credit in order to determine where you're going to go. We don't actually need your credit score. Other people may, but that's what we use it for. All right, so those are the industry websites. Now let's go into the market leader websites, the ones that you've probably seen marketed and are familiar with. Oh, real quick, Philip is saying, I could not get reports from annual credit report. Someone else said they had difficulty. So that brings up a good point. If you go to annual credit report and you try to go through the steps, they might tell you no. And you may be thinking, well, I haven't actually been to annual credit report within the last year, so how can they tell me no? That's not the only way to get your free report. So I see this most with Experian. Somebody may have gotten their free report through some other Experian entity, and now you can't get it when you go through annual credit report. So it is possible that you have difficulties. Darren has a point.
Yeah, so when you're going through annualcreditreport.com, a lot of times the information that they have for the security questions may be incorrect.
Really?
That's something, because if you have any sort of joint account or any sort of additional credit with somebody else, their information can be pulled in and mixed up with your information. So this is one of the issues that you may run into when dealing with annualcreditreport.com. Now, most of the time it works out pretty well, works out pretty easily, but in the cases that you're not able to get through the site, they will actually ask you to actually email them or send them information via mail, like snail mail.
Okay. Now, of course, we all have to appreciate the security questions, because we don't want rascals logging in and stealing our credit. That's obviously very bad. But I will say personally that some of the security questions can be pretty dang difficult to get through. They're asking about places I lived 20, 30 years ago, people I know, the amount of a car payment that I don't have anymore. It could be pretty complicated. All right, Credit Karma. This is our #2 recommended website. And there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, you get 2 scores, and you get free reports from 2 different agencies. So it's Equifax and TransUnion. Personally, we like Experian the best. So, it's not perfect, but you still get 2 scores and 2 reports for free. Free is awesome. You get free monitoring. You do not get identity protection, but then again, what are you expecting for free? And it is free. Did I say free? Free is cool, right? Of course. What did I just say? I think it's free.
God, it's free?
I think it's free. But then again, what did I just say? When somebody gives you something for free, the product they're selling is you, so it's not completely free. You're definitely going to be presented with marketing offers through the sign-up process, and there's a good chance you're going to get emails. I can't say definitively, but with that said, they have a great report. It's easy to review. It comes with scores. It's very thorough, and it's definitely something that we can review in order to let you know if you qualify for financing. Okay, next we're going to move on to Smart Credit. I used to hear about Smart Credit all the time. Frankly, I hear about it less now. Smart Credit has, I got some question marks on this one, to be totally honest with you. I believe you can get all 3 scores and all 3 reports, but when you look on the site, it has this little asterisk. It says a la carte, which to me, a la carte means it costs money, but we couldn't get them to admit that it actually costs money. And so I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I'll let you know next week after I do the sign-up process. What is interesting about Smart Credit is when you go through, it can be a little confusing to get through the website because there's all these tabs, but when you look at an individual account of yours, let's say a credit card, and you see a 30-day late, if you disagree with it, they have a system set up for you to dispute that transaction with the credit bureaus. Now, I don't think that's as effective as using a professional credit restoration service, one that we can definitely refer you to, but it is something. So if you're looking to save money and you just want the bare bones, for $19.95, you get $1 million in identity theft protection, you get monitoring, and you maybe get 3 scores and 3 reports. I'm not really sure. We'll let you know. They do have some other cool stuff, some money management tools in there, so look for that as well. So this has some interesting things. I just got to find out about the whole a la carte thing. All right, next website we're going to cover is Credit Check Total. Credit Check Total is up there with one of the most frequent ones we see. They're obviously doing a great job of marketing because we see Credit Check Total reports all the time. I think it's because at one point it had a free intro and now it's $1 for 7 days. So if people like the dollar, but it is $29.95 after that, so it's definitely not the cheapest site out there. You get all 3 reports. Experian is unlimited polls. The other, you can do it once every 30 days. But then again, most people don't need it more frequently than every 30 days. You get all 3 reports and you get monitoring. You get a lot of different stuff and a lot of people know how to review it. So a lot of good things to say about Credit Check Total. And in fact, it's our number 3 recommended website, but it does have one really big flaw. And that is, as one of the data points, it does not tell you or us who has ownership of the accounts. So for example, if you at work are given a work credit card, they put you on as an authorized user, but of course you have no financial responsibility for repayment on the card, and it ends up showing up on your credit report, which happens sometimes. It doesn't say if it's yours or somebody else's. So that's really important information for us to know because having authorized user accounts doesn't really help you, and in fact it might hurt you, but if they are your own accounts, then we need to know that. So anytime we see a Credit Check Total, it's a good report except for that one big maybe of we don't actually know if any of these things are yours. So we need a verbal verification from you, or sometimes we have to double check it doing an Experian pull. But by and large, Credit Check Total is a good website.
Yeah, interesting about Credit Check Total. So they're owned by Experian, and you used to be able to get your Experian report directly from them. So we were able to get around that issue with the authorized accounts, but I don't think you can do that anymore. So it's, like Tim said, it's great, but it has some caveats.
Yeah, one other important thing I want to mention, if you look at the Credit Check Total website or a lot of the different websites, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, it'll say Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. Some of them will only say TransUnion. I've heard a lot of people, and by the way, I'm talking about 15 websites today, but there's literally hundreds of different credit monitoring services and sites you can go to. Some of them free, some of them cost money. I've heard a lot of people see the Experian name up there and they think that this is a site owned by Experian or affiliated or endorsed by Experian. But I could tell you 100% that does not mean anything. If you have worked with Experian for the right to pull credit through your website, you also have the right to put that logo up there. It doesn't mean that they have any more credibility than something created by some Russian hacker in the middle of the night. So who you're giving all this information to is really important. Don't trust or think just because it says Experian that it's a reputable site. I have somebody else is mentioning, Philip is saying, Credit Check Total rejected me, would not give me a reason why I could not get my reports. They said that when calling, they do give out that information. Why then can they not give the reports? Don't know exactly what you're saying, but I'd be happy to talk about it. We could cover it on the next show. Okay, next we're going to talk about free credit score. Now, a free credit score and the next website we're going to cover, freecreditreport.com, are both the exact same website with a different face. So once you get through that face page, you end up with an Experian report. You get one score, Experian, one report, Experian. You get free credit monitoring. You do not get identity protection, and it is free. So free is cool. These are both, there's a big push. Interesting thing is recently the government mandated, before I told you that the government told all the agencies they had to give a report out once a year for free, recently they moved forward and told the reporting agencies they have to give away free reports, I think monthly, but to everybody. Everybody now can get them monthly through, and they're required to give it through their own website. So what's interesting now is to see all the different companies bragging about how they give something away for free, trying to get some, credibility from the customers. Really, the government made them do it, but that's fine. They're doing it, and we're benefiting from it. So you can go to Free Credit Report, Free Credit Score. It used to not be free. They got in a lot of legal trouble. They had those, freecreditreport.com, the guy saying, and then you go there, and it wasn't free. Now it's actually free.
It's kind of like when you deal with corn tortillas, and they say gluten-free, you're like, yes.
Man, I don't... What are you talking about?
No, when it's mandated, this is mandated to be free.
Okay. Corn tortillas are mandated to be gluten.
No, but they're advertising for it to be free. Well, it's like somebody advertising corn is gluten-free. It's now gluten-free. You're like, it was always gluten-free.
That's cool, but I didn't know corn was gluten-free. So now I don't even know what the heck gluten is. What is it? It's like some kind of a wheat byproduct? Frankly, I don't know. Anyway, other show. Okay, moving on. Free Credit Report, Free Credit Score are the same. And then the last one we're going to talk about in this category is nav.com. Now, we are reviewing this from the perspective of looking at your personal credit. Nav is definitely apart from all the different sites we're going to cover today because it's broader and different from everybody else. And in some ways that's really good. In some ways it's really bad. So we'll talk about that. First of all, when you go to Nav, you don't get 1, 2, 3 scores. You get 4, right? You get an Experian score, a TransUnion score, a Dun & Bradstreet score, that's a business score, and it's a small business scoring something else. It's related to an SBA scoring model created by FICO that frankly nobody knows about except for some lenders, but that's another score. So you get 4 different scores and you get all 4 reports. Not totally sure on the monitoring. Actually, no, you do get alerts all the time. The interesting thing about the nav alerts, because I signed up a while back, is that they send you out an alert. A lot of these guys do this. They send you out an alert telling you that something's changed. They don't tell you what. But you have to log into the site in order to find out, because that's how they make money, advertising to you on the site. And then you might go in and just see that a balance changed by $50 or something. I felt like I was harassed by nav emails telling me to log into the site almost every single day because it was telling me there was an update to your business, there was an update to you personally, and it was a lot of emails. But you get identity protection for $1 million for $24.99. This is probably one of the most interesting values, right? You get personal and business reports and identity theft and monitoring all for $24.99. If you don't want to do one of the free services, you get more here than anywhere else. That's the good stuff. The bad stuff, besides the email stuff I was talking about, is for us, if you go sign up with Nav and you try to print out your report, it's almost impossible. We're not really sure why they're so bad. What happens is it just randomly excludes important information, things that are important to us, and it's not even consistent in the type of information it excludes. What we suspect, we don't know, is that they have marketing partners where when the lead comes in from marketing partner A, it includes these pieces of information and excludes this. When it comes from marketing partner B, it does different ones. I can't validate or verify that, but that's what we think it is, because why else would it be randomly different on what it includes? So it's really hard to print out the reports. This is a frequent issue people have on a lot of these websites. Not all of them make it easy to print the report. We need to see the whole darn thing, not just a little snapshot. A lot of the websites make it easy to print the snapshot and hard to print the full report. So this is in that bucket. This is maybe one of the worst. This is in the worst bottom 3 for actually printing out a report and getting it to us. I don't know that we've, in the last 2 years, been able to grade a single NAV report because they miss stuff and it's hard to review. You're going to end up having to sign up somewhere else. So good and bad, as I said. All right, last category we're going to talk about today are the identity protection websites. These are websites that are mostly designed for identity protection, which is one step up from monitoring. Now, you're going to notice that there's a lot of blend in the features across the different websites. The granddaddy of this industry was LifeLock. Now, you got to give LifeLock a lot of credibility for really creating an industry. We're going to talk about them today. When they started, they were super unique, and now a lot of people have imitated them to the point where it doesn't matter. And the first one we're going to talk about that falls in that category is Identity Guard. So if you go to Identity Guard, you get 3 different scores, 3 different reports, you get credit monitoring, you get identity protection up to $1 million. That's the thing that LifeLock pioneered. And then it's $24.99 a month. Or if you don't care about knowing your scores or getting monitoring, then for $8.99 a month you can get the insurance and your scores only. We need the report, so that one doesn't work for us. So price point, it's not bad. It is on the higher end, but you do get just about everything you want. That is very similar to Privacy Guard. Same thing. All 3 reports, all 3 scores, credit monitoring, $1 million in identity theft protection insurance. Privacy Guard is better in the sense that it's $1 for the first 14 days, and then they hope that you don't cancel, and if you don't, then it's $29.99 a month. So you notice that they give you 2 weeks for $1, but then you pay more forever. Versus Identity Guard, you start paying right away, but it's $5 less per month forever. So, okay, and Privacy Guard is another one of those ones that's real tricky to download reports for some reason. People very frequently just give us the summary or a screenshot. They can't figure out how to print it out. It's possible. I just did it 10 minutes ago, so I know you can, but a lot of people have trouble with it. Okay, Identity IQ. Identity IQ personally looks like a website from about 10 years ago, but if you go there, you get 3 different scores, 3 different reports, you get credit monitoring, you get identity theft protection, and it's $24.99 a month, just like Identity Guard. They also have a cheap $9.99 report that has no reports or monitoring, but you get the scores and identity theft protection. This is actually a good report. We give the thumbs up to getting a report from Identity IQ. All right, and I think this might be the last one. Is this the last one? Nope. Okay. LifeLock. Again, these guys were the pioneers in the identity protection field. If you go to LifeLock now, you get 1 score just from Equifax. You get 3 reports a month. Okay, so you get 1 score, but you get all 3 reports. Looking at your reports is important if you're worried about identity theft, but the score is less important. So you get monitoring. They'll send you all sorts of emails. They even have a higher up level where they'll do all sorts of extra stuff. I don't necessarily know if that's worth it unless you have a real specific fear that somebody's going to do something to you. You get $1 million in identity theft protection. It's $29.99 a month. And an interesting thing about LifeLock, what LifeLock really did first that people hadn't done before is anybody can go to their credit and request that the bureaus put on what's called a fraud alert. What a fraud alert does is it says that if you go and apply for credit at any point, when you make that application, the lender is going to look, see a fraud alert, and they're supposed to do additional due diligence to verify that it's you that's applying for financing. So this is a good thing. It is available to everybody for free. A lot of people didn't know it existed. So LifeLock basically charged for that. I think it was $19.95 a month. They would do a fraud alert, leave it on there, give you your $1 million in insurance. They were making a boatload of money, and people are very happy with the service, and now everybody's imitating them. Now, the downside of the fraud alerts is what I just said. If you go and apply for credit, like if you come to us and we help you apply for financing, it's going to make it that much more difficult. They're going to do a lot more due diligence, and frankly, some of the lenders will just automatically deny you because they don't want to go with it. If there's any fear at all of fraud, they just auto-deny. So when most clients come to us with fraud alerts on, typically we have them go through a fraud alert removal process, which involves sending letters to the credit bureaus and waiting a month, more or less, in order to get that removed. All right, next one.
Didn't the owner of of that company like put his social security number out there on all like advertisements when they first started and had his identity stolen like 5 or 6 times?
Yeah, now, honestly, I have a lot of respect for LifeLock. These guys came in and made a ton of money. They changed an industry, and one of the big marketing things they did was the president came on and put his social security number literally on the side of a bus that drove around. He went on commercials, he said it on TV over and over and over again, because his point was, I don't care about hiding my social security number because I have this identity theft protection. Now, he got his identity stolen, I think, at least 3 times. But, the idea of the protection was that, the insurance was there to help him fix it after that happened. And I'm sure he was covered. So in that sense, it didn't really disprove his model. And it was a genius marketing method that people really appreciated. So in that sense, I give him 2 thumbs up for marketing because it worked very well. All right, next we're going to get into 2 that frankly we really don't like around here. So sorry, ScoreSense, and then the next website, which is created by ScoreSense. ScoreSense, and this is interesting. I love seeing 2 websites by the same company that have a different price. And they basically give you the exact same report. I don't understand why they have different price. It's different marketing, whatever. ScoreSense. If you go to ScoreSense and sign up, you'll get all 3 reports. You get monitoring for all 3 bureaus. And that comes out, you can see the reports, see the scores, you get identity theft protection for $1 million, and it's free for 7 days, and then $29.99 a month after that. Is actually, I think that is, hit me that again, go back and forth, I think there's a typo. Yes, there is a typo. Okay, I will tell you, since you're maybe not looking at it, but with ScoreSense, it is not free for 7 days. You immediately pay the $29.99. But on Free Score 360, which is the exact same company and the exact same report, it's free for 7 days, and then if you don't cancel, it's $39.99. So if you want to keep a credit monitoring service for a long time, definitely don't do Free Score 360. If you're deciding between the 2 exact same reports, do ScoreSense. But if you just want a free report for 7 days, go to Free Score 360, and good luck canceling, right? Good luck to me too, because I'm going to do this over the next week, and I'll let you know how it goes. Now, one thing I haven't talked about today, which you all should know about, is I can't verify, I believe what I'm seeing is almost every single credit card provider is providing credit monitoring and often reports for free. If you log into your app or your website where you manage your credit card, many of them are giving you free scores or free access to reports. Some of them are going so far as giving you free monitoring and more. If you have that, then you don't ever need to go sign up at a website and pay money. So you definitely can get your scores and reports for free depending on which credit card you have, and that's a great option for a lot of people.
I know Chase, Bank of America, if you have accounts with them, you can actually get your report and credit score. My Sallie Mae loan, I can check my credit score.
Right.
I mean, Citibank.
Yeah, Capital One, USAA, we were looking at a lot of them this morning. So there's a lot of places you can get the free reports. You may be thinking, why are these credit cards giving out this information for free? Well, it's because it benefits them, because if somebody is the victim of identity theft, there's a decent chance that somebody's going to hack into their own credit card they provided to you and rack up a bunch of bills. So, also, it's a way to know if you have somebody stealing your identity or if you paid off all your debts, all that kind of stuff. There's a benefit to them, and it's become so inexpensive that it is better for them to give it to you for free than have you go to some other website and be presented with other credit cards, right? They're trying to retain you as a customer. Okay, so that's a good summary on all the different reporting agencies and what we expect. I think it'll be real interesting to see what happens when I sign up for the sites and try to cancel the sites. I'm probably to do signups on one day, cancel the next day, so that at least there's a day in between. But as a summary, if you're wanting us to wrap it up, the #1 recommended website is go to annualcreditreport.com. You have to actually go to annualcreditreport.com. It's amazing. I've told people before, go to annualcreditreport.com, and they say, I can't figure it out, this costs money, and they heard annual and they went to free credit score or whatever. Actually go to annualcreditreport.com and you can get them all for free. That's #1. #2 is Credit Karma, free, and it gives you all sorts of stuff that you need. And last on the recommended ones is Credit Check Total. You might be wondering, why are we recommending Credit Check Total when it doesn't tell you about the ownership of the accounts? Well, we can get that information from you, so it is possible for us to know. but everything else is good. It's easy to sign up for. You get the $1 for the first 7 days, and it's a good thorough report that has everything else that we need. All right, so that wraps up for the day. Please remember to come back next week where you can watch me sweat it out, signing up and canceling with different service providers. I'm trying to think if over the week I might be able to upload little vids in between to show you each individual website, and then we'll do the summary on the next show. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to be. We're moving offices this week, so we're going to be pretty busy. And heck, we're just hoping to have the studio back up by next Wednesday, but we'll be there. Subscribe, get the alerts, and thank you for coming on the show. We look forward to doing a lot more deals together.